we really need to be thinking about food first. And that's why I wanted to go into these supplements, because I think it's important not to be influenced into spending your money on things that don't require actual supplementation. So let's take a look and see what we find. Hey everybody, my name is Dr. Randon Hall and I'm with AE360. Today we're going to do an in-depth review of a supplement called TruHeight. One important thing to know that this is not medical advice and there is no patient-physician relationship. Otherwise, let's get into the details to see if this supplement is really something that you need. As I mentioned before, my name is Dr. Randon Hall and I'm a pediatric sports medicine physician and a sports performance consultant. First, we need to talk about supplements and a general approach to supplements. Now, I have a more in-depth review of how to review a supplement in a different video, but in general, we want to look at 4 major things when we're looking at a supplement and how we evaluate it. The short version is that we need to look at, does the thing actually need to be supplemented? Meaning, is it low and is there any benefit to getting it higher up? The second is, can it actually be supplemented? There are many things that when we take it in by mouth, it doesn't actually raise our levels within the blood. The third is it safe? And then the fourth is, does it do what it said it's supposed to do? The first 3 ingredients are all things that you likely have heard of: calcium, vitamin D, and vitamin K. Calcium, as we know, is used to build new bone. Vitamin D helps to absorb that calcium that's needed for bone. And vitamin K helps to stimulate the proteins that are responsible for building new bone. So all things that we would want to be in a supplement that's purported to give us a true height. It's important to look at the nutrition labels to read exactly what it is that they're saying is in the supplement. As far as the calcium, it's saying there's about 300 milligrams of calcium within the recommended daily dose. Well, that's the equivalent that you might find in a 6-ounce container of yogurt. It also mentions about 800 international units or 20 micrograms of vitamin D, and that's about the amount that you might find in an 8-ounce glass of milk. So right there you can see that you can pretty easily get those first 2 ingredients in your normal daily diet. The other thing we might want to look at is the vitamin K. Now, what's interesting, all of these supplement makers usually have something called a proprietary blend. And what that means is they're not going to tell you what the exact dosage of those particular ingredients is. That's their trade secret. So right now, we don't know how much vitamin K is there, but we do know there's some, and I can tell you honestly, it's not that hard to get vitamin K in your diet. Okay, they do point out a few studies that are referenced in terms of validating the use of these ingredients in their supplement. To sum all those studies up, none of them really talked about growing taller or gaining height. They did talk about lean body mass and bone density, but not particularly growing in height. The last thing to keep in mind is vitamin D can be most affected by how much sunlight you get, as well as resistance training can influence bone mineral density quite a bit. Okay, there's 2 additional ingredients that are in the growth gummy that I wanted to talk about. That's L-arginine and L-glutamine. Those are both small proteins called amino acids. Now, why would we add L-arginine and why would we add L-glutamine to a particular supplement? Here, I think they missed the mark a little bit on impacting actual height and growth. L-arginine is really more used for a sports performance supplement in that it can increase nitric oxide, which can increase blood flow to the muscles when a particular athlete is participating in sports. That's where it's thought to get its performance effect. That really isn't going to have a big impact on your growth. The other thing that's important to know about L-arginine is that it's a conditionally essential amino acid. Basically what that means is, for the most part, in young, healthy individuals, we can make our own L-arginine as much as needed by the body without the need of consuming it in our diet. Now, there are a couple of cases with particular specific medical conditions, as well as when the body is under extreme stress, where L-arginine supplementation might be helpful, but it's not really going to be used to increase your height. L-glutamine is a little bit of the same. It's really more a sports supplement or performance supplement. The thought is that L-glutamine can help in your immune response, decreasing the amount of times you get sick, but it's not really something that can increase your height or your growth rate. Most of the time, we can make all of the L-glutamine that we need, and the body does not need to consume it to have proper levels within the bloodstream. However, in athletes who are doing high intensity activities like ultra marathons and Ironmans, as well as if you are experiencing a significant stress, then certainly there have been shown lower levels of L-glutamine, and it might be beneficial to supplement. However, that is not going to be a supplement that's going to help with height and growth. All right, there's a few items in the ingredients that aren't quite things that you'd be familiar with or heard on a day-to-day basis. The first is called astragalus root. This is a Chinese herb that may have some benefit for immunity. It definitely does not have significant amount of data on it for me to make any determination if this is useful for growth and height. And it also likely has not been studied in adolescent or teenagers. My main concern here is with some of these herbs, you have to be concerned about how they may interact with any of the medications that you're already on. The next is something called spirulina. Spirulina is an algae that is touted as a superfood. Basically, it has tons of minerals and vitamins, as well as it's a complete protein. The problem I have here is the volume. If you look at how much of the spirulina you need to get a high level of protein, it's quite a bit. And again, it's in the proprietary blend, so we can't be quite sure how much of this superfood is actually in the supplement. And regardless of what we might find as far as the amount that's in the supplement, none of the findings really show that it's related to helping you grow taller. And the last hard to pronounce ingredient is ashwagandha. Now, ashwagandha has been studied, but not frequently in young athletes and definitely not in young kids. It's specifically called an adaptogen. Basically, ashwagandha has been shown to help adults in dealing with stress and inflammation in the body, but again, not studied in young teenagers, not studied in kids, and definitely none of those things are involved in growing you to your true height. All right, in conclusion, I'm not saying that TruHeight supplement is bad. I'm not saying that it's harmful. I'm just saying that the chances that taking this supplement is going to make you grow taller than you would without it is pretty low. I think there is a little bit of marketing going on here where they're saying grow to your true potential, meaning that do you have the right vitamins? Do you have the right supplements to help your body grow in a healthy way? I think that's what they're getting at. But when you look at the website and see that it talks about to your true height, and there's pictures of a mother measuring their child and lots of social media talking about growing taller, I don't think that that's really what the ingredients in this particular supplement can be shown definitively to do. As always, remember when taking supplements, they do not have to be tested before they're put on the market. And certainly, if you are a Division I or college athlete that has to undergo drug testing, you want to make sure your supplements are third-party tested, particularly by companies like USP and NSF for Sport, that can help assure you that those particular ingredients have been tested for any impurities or banned substances. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Happy to answer any questions or further elaborate on any other topics.